Hi guys, SkyPoint here, and today the Alpha Legion have been released. So later on I'm going to be trying them out in the new event, but in the meantime first I wanted to just make a video to talk through the Alpha Legion's cards, from the Warlords and their low value cards all the way up to the top. So let's start with the first Warlord, Alpharius. Whoops. There we go, alright. So, a couple of things. He's got the normal Warlord stats, 2 attack, 40 health. Here's the new mechanic for the Alpha Legion, Secret Identity. So it turns out he starts the game as an Alpha Legionary. I don't know what that means, but presumably he starts apparently looking like a regular unit, and your enemy doesn't know which of your units is your Warlord. We will see that later in action, I guess. His ability is fantastic. Your opponent draws a card for 1 energy, but you put a copy of it in your hand. Given that Dewback Starkiller is one of the most popular legendary cards, and his ability is at the end of each turn, he puts a copy of one of the enemy cards in your hand. This is basically a Warlord who is the most popular card. Let's take a look at the next guy, Armilus Dynat. So he's the common Warlord, 2 attack, 30 health. Again, he has Secret Identity. His ability looks really great. Deal 2 damage to a troop and stun it. That can be really useful at times. The third Warlord is Ingo Petch, again with Secret Identity, and his ability is to create a random secret order. So I believe those are like Alpha Legion tactics, but we'll see that in a moment. Alright, now we start getting into their actual cards, starting with 1 energy. Infiltration. Create a copy in your hand of each trap put in your opponent's deck. Interesting, okay, we'll see what that means later, I guess. It's a 1 energy tactic. Sleeper Operative. This card was part of the preview leaks by the developers. This is really powerful looking. When you draw a card, deal 1 damage to your Warlord. That sounds like it sucks, except when you rally, so when your card gets put into play, you give this to your enemy and you stun it. So it goes and stakes up one of the enemy slots, and it starts doing damage to him. 2 energy is Cultist. At the end of your turn, deal 1 damage to all enemies. That's actually pretty good. It's similar, except with reverse stats, to a World Eater's card. Cyrarius Squad. Rally, both players draw a card. Oh, that's actually really great because it combos well with Sleeper Operative, because if you can force your enemy to draw a card, but he takes 1 damage each time he draws a card, that's gonna hurt. And ow, I just realized that works well with Alpharius too. Alright, Enemy In. This is one of the first of those secret orders. Oh, it's right, it's a trap. When drawn, deal 5 damage to your Warlord and then draw another card. Ooh, that is nasty. So you put these into, I guess, the enemy deck, perhaps? Yeah, I guess. False Flag. When drawn, stun all of your units. Draw a card. Yeah, these traps, these ones go into your enemy deck when you play them. Ouch. That's brutal. Hertauzo Bronzy. Wow, a 2 energy legendary card. When you play a trap, add a copy of it to your hand. Oh, man. Ow. Wow, okay. That just allows you to constantly put traps into the enemy deck. That's brutal. Hydra Dominatus. When drawn, destroy a random friendly troop. Ooh, youch. Again, you're forcing your enemy to kill his own units. Seeds of Betrayal. When drawn, draw 3 more cards. Okay, so that one is a bit of a double-edged sword. It could potentially hurt your enemy a lot, especially if he's got Secret Operative handed over to him, but it could hurt you if no cards drawn harm the enemy Warlord. 3 energy, Aleph Null Veteran. Rally, stun an enemy troop. That's great, again, especially if Secret Operative has been played against the enemy, because you'll get to stun the Secret Operative and keep him alive for longer. Alpha Order. When attacking a troop, swap places with that troop instead. Okay, so this adds a secret ability to an enemy infantry or a Starday. Oh, right, that's pretty cool. When an enemy unit attacks, it swaps places with the unit. So you can give this to your enemy's most powerful unit, and when it attacks one of your guys, especially if you have a weak unit, they swap places. Delta Order. At the end of your turn, deal 2 damage and stun your Warlord. Yow, that's brutal. Okay. So again, you play this against an enemy unit, and then it starts doing bad things to its owner. Alright, that's Delta. Oops. Next, Gamma Order for 3 energy. When attacking the enemy Warlord, damage yours instead. Ooh, wow. So again, you play this on an enemy unit. When it tries to attack your Warlord, it attacks its owner instead. Ghost Legionary. Gain +1 whenever your opponent draws a card. Ooh, okay. Again, this combos well with some of those other abilities we've seen. Herzog Squad for 3 energy. Draw a secret order from your deck when you die. Okay. Honorius Rhino rather. Has a front line and puts a copy of a secret order into your deck. Okay. Omega Order. Deals 3 damage to any troops that you put in play. Okay, again, this is really cool. One of the secret abilities you put on enemy infantry. Darganti Sergeant for 4 energy, 4 attack, 3 health. Add a random secret order to your hand. So you can really see how these secret orders are a key part of the Alpha Legion abilities. Decimius Squad. Deal 2 damage to the enemy Warlord when your opponent draws a trap. Ooh, wow, okay. Again, when you fill the enemy's deck with traps and then you play this guy. I think this is a bit less useful compared to some of the others because it seems that it's only... I mean, I guess his stats are not bad, 4-4. So I guess he's worth it playing 4 energy for those stats alone. And this his special ability is a bonus on top. Fortranus Veterans, alright. Rally, deal 2 damage. If your opponent has more than 5 cards in hand, stun it. Oh man, this is great, especially for those Fulgrim players who are trying to build up a big hand for a Tilat's Changers combo. One of many. Your Warlord becomes Alpha Legionary, heal 5. Create another Alpha Legion Warlord in your hand. Interesting. Let's see how that one pans out. I don't quite get how it works. Saboteur Squad. Rally. Reduce your opponent's maximum energy by 1. Oh, that's actually powerful. Energy gives you a big advantage in this game, and that looks like a permanent one until you reach, I guess, the 10 energy limit. Osauria Squad. Add a copy of a trap you played this game to your hand. Oh, okay, nice. So if you've already been playing traps, this guy will help you to play more traps. Headhunter Squad. Headhunter Kill Team. Sneak Attack. If your opponent has more than 5 cards in hand, gain Stealth. Ooh, that's actually useful. A card you can play with a high attack and which has Sneak, and when you play it, it has Stealth, so it can't be targeted and killed immediately. Hydra's Heads. Possessed Rhino. Both players draw a card. Ooh, that's actually really good both for you and also if you've given the enemy abilities. If you've got traps in the enemy's deck, this will help those come out, as well as obviously if you played the Secret Operative card, this will cause him to hurt himself. Lambda Thunderhawk. Deal 4 damage, stun the target and adjacent units. Again, this is great, especially if the enemy has a Secret Operative next to him, because you can do 4 damage to the Warlord and stun the Secret Operative to keep doing more damage in the enemy turn. Legion. Put in play a copy of a friendly troop. That's pretty cool. Again, these just combo really well, because if you use Alpha Order on the enemy's most powerful unit, and he swap places with one of yours, and he's now a friendly troop, for 5 energy you can just copy that unit. Alright. Legendary. Pale Spear. Your Warlord gains. Deal 1 damage to the enemy Warlord when you draw a card. Given how many card draw abilities there seem to be, this is also very powerful, although for 5 energy compared to some of the other legendaries, I'm not quite convinced. Serpent Squad. Gain +1 when they play a tactic. I think this is good because I believe a lot of these special orders like traps and secret orders count as tactics. Covert Support. When an enemy troop is put in play, stun it. Oh, that is fun. That is a great card because it shuts down so many units, including, I believe, fast units. Efreet Squad. Legendary. 6 energy. Stealth and deal 4 damage to enemy Warlord for 1 energy. That is very powerful. Because with the stealth ability, he cannot do anything about that. Hydra's Eyes. When your opponent draws a card, deal 1 damage to the enemy Warlord. Okay, so this is sort of like Secret Operative, but just sitting on your side. The Instrument. this was well known before. Stuns a unit and deals its attack damage to adjacent units. The devs had leaked this card 1 or 2 days ago. Camalaris Squad. Rally. Stun an enemy troop. Then for 2 energy, stun an enemy troop. Okay, that's again great because how powerful stuns are. Ophius Whirlwind Scorpion Tag. Blue on, deal 2 damage to 3 random enemies. Powerful. I like it. World Eater's Dreadnought, Arcantus Origo. Front line, and then he stuns anyone who he damages. That's actually pretty good, because he's got front line, so people will be forced to attack him, and they'll be stunning themselves. Lernian Terminators. Deal 1 damage to enemy Warlord whenever you draw a card. Okay. The Harrowing. Deal 1 damage to all enemies for each card in your opponent's hands. Oh, again, that's really brutal for those Fulgrim players who like to build up big hands. Also, there was a card earlier which forced the enemy to draw 3 cards. Potentially this could combo off that, although he might draw those 3 and then just deploy them, and that would make that useless. The final legendary, Autlin Scar. Consult Delegatus Autlin Scar. Rally, deal 3 damage to the enemy Warlord and stun all his troops. Ooh, incredible. Legion Glaive. Front line. So enemies are forced to attack it. Rally, enemy tactics cost 4 more until your next turn. So this is like an improved version of the Imperial Army Hydra. And then lastly, this is Alfarius' ability when he his Whispers of Chaos. So your Warlord becomes Omegan, heal 5. That's actually less than many of the other Reckonings, but then stun the enemy Warlord, and it costs less every turn. So he ultimately will become Omegan. I don't know what Omegan's abilities are. We can't see that yet. Maybe we'll see it later on. Alright, so that's the Alpha Legion cards. So stay tuned. Later on today I'll be posting some videos of Alpha Legion play in the new event. In fact, I'm going to start by doing a 1-ticket run as a teaser. I'll do this in a little bit and then put it out. But let's take a look at what my options are going to be. Oops, 1-ticket run first, because I don't want to use up 10 tickets experimenting with Alpha Legion. Alright, my options over here. Nemetor, who generally sucks. His abilities, he does more damage when he's attacked. I do not like Nemetor at all. Vincente 6, I don't like him, especially since he was nerfed, but everyone will be playing Alpha Legion. So options are Armilis Dynat, for just 2 damage to an enemy unit and stun it, which is pretty good, but I'm gonna go with Alfarius. Alright. And now we get choices on which deck to take. I'll come back to this later on. So anyway, let's actually, before I do that and select a deck, let's review what we have. So the first deck is Shattered Dagger. Looking at this, it has 3 legendaries in it. One is Pale Spear, which we saw is 1 damage to enemy Warlord when you draw a card. So Alfarius' own ability is actually he puts a copy of the card the enemy draws, so he will not trigger his Pale Spear. We have the Instrument, which is powerful. We have Efreet Squad, which is all I mentioned was really strong looking as well. So an Instrument and Efreet Squad, this deck looks pretty good. It's got the Harrowing, which I personally don't like. It's got 2 Goldstone Hunters, which are great, and it has Alpha Order, so you can play that on an enemy powerful unit. And then we also have Headhunter Squad, which I thought was good. So this is basically between Headhunter Squad and Efreet. It would rely quite a lot on stealth over here. Alright. Next one, True Victory. Its legendaries include Jubak Starsight, so potentially Alfarius would be copying 2 enemy cards a turn. I personally think that might fill up his hand too quickly. It does have Ornithop's Barge, which is a classic. I don't like it in events because it's really lucked base. But that's it. It only has 2 legendary cards in this deck, so I'm a bit biased against it. It does have the Dreadnought, which I think Shattered Dagger did not have. It's got the 2 Scorpion tanks with their good random ability. I don't know. I feel kind of... Oh wait, it did have another legendary. It has Hurtado Bronzy. So he's the trap guy. But this card does not seem to have... This deck itself does not seem to have many traps. That's weird. So the only trap you'd ever play is the random one you get when you add this, and then if he survives, he will trigger constantly. I don't know, that feels a bit weird. Would they have any traps in here? We had a bunch of orders, Alpha Order, Gamma Order. Yeah, there are no trap cards in this. Alright, and last one is Armor of Lies. So this has the instrument. It has Hurtado Bronzy and no other legendaries. It does have Infiltration. Sleeper Operatives, it's got 2 of those, which I think the others did not have. So this, and then it has Delta Order, deal 2 damage and stun your Warlord. Okay. It's got the Ghost Legionary, Herzog Squad. So Ghost Legionary will get stronger whenever you trigger Alpharis's ability, because he forces the enemy to draw a card. We've got Giganti Squad, and I think that is about it over here. Alright, so I'm going to stop this video now, and we'll post this up in a moment.